Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone. My name is Muhammad Aszrin, Azri bin Muhammad Afandi, student ID DA98049. I am going to explain something to you about logical fallacies. First and foremost, logical fallacy is reasoning that is evaluated as logically incorrect and that undermines the logical validity of the argument and permits its recognition as unsound. There are two broad types of logical fallacies, which is formal and informal. Formal fallacy describes a flaw in the construction of a deductive argument, while an informal fallacy describes an error in reasoning. So, this is a few examples of logical fallacies. Circular reasoning is when the argument is restated rather than proven. In other words, you attempt to make an argument by beginning with an assumption that what you are trying to prove is already true. For an example, opium is sleep inducing because it has a sleep inducing quality. A typical formula for circular reasoning is A is true because B is true, and B is true because A is true. A hasty generalization. It means when someone makes an argument without doing any research and without considering all of the facts. For examples, if a man walks through a town for the first time and sees 10 people, all of them children, he might conclude that all the town's residents are children. This argument fails to explore all of the data surrounding the topic and attempt to suggest a conclusion based on this limited knowledge. Next is slippery slope. A slippery slope is when someone makes an easy or simple conclusion. For an example, if you don't study and on Saturdays, your grades will suffer. If your grades suffer, you won't graduate school with high honors, which means you won't get a good job. The problem here is that the main issue is being covered by extreme hypotheticals with no real proof to support the argument. After that, strawman. It means technique when someone takes another person's argument, distort it or exaggerates so that it is easier to refute a point. An example, after Will said that we should put more money into health and education, Warren responded by saying that he was surprised that Will hates our country so much that he wants to alleviate differences by cutting military spending. After that, ad hominem, which is an attack on a person's character on personal attributes in order to discredit their argument. For example, a mother might reject the judgments of a male pediatrician because he has never been a mother and could not possibly understand the child's situation. She has done nothing to directly oppose the doctor's argument, but has instead tried to undermine his judgment without actually having to engage with it. False dichotomy means an argument points while disregarding or ignoring others in order to narrow the argument in person's favor. This is also known as an either or fallacy. There are only two options given when there are really more options available. Next is appeal to emotion. When someone make an argument or reason to persuade the people, such as teacher, mother, father, and others, in general, what someone perceives to be unfair, how someone is feeling, or even things that someone might perceive to be moral or immoral do not carry much weight for making an objective argument. Lastly, false analogy. It means when two things are being compared based on trivial similarity to prove a point. For example, people are like dogs. They respond best to discipline. This is an absurd analogy that attempts to correlate people and dogs based on one minor similarity. So that's all from me, and I hope you guys understand and enjoy it. Thank you.